Thank you for tuning into Faith After Fire. I am Q Jones, and we are in our topic series, Prayer Changes Things. We are in our part 3, and we are wrapping up here concerning prayer, concerning the relationship with God, and how to communicate with God. And so now we are in our portion of the outcome that no one talks about. Yes, we speak about the outcome, or you hear about the outcome of the breakthroughs. You hear about the healing and, what God delivered us from. But do we hear about, the process that sometimes many of us go through, that before that breakthrough come, before that deliverance come, before that door opens, how sometimes prayer doesn't always change your situation first, but sometimes it changes you. Have any of you ever been in that situation where you have prayed diligently, where you have sought the Lord like Daniel, and you were praying and you were so dedicated like David, the one that God said, he's after my very own heart? Have you ever been in that situation, or how many of you rather has been in that situation where you went into this prayer for something else, or this prayer season, or whatever the situation is, and your situation didn't change immediately, but you transformed into a whole new person, a whole new creature? Whether you became a prayer warrior, whether you became stronger, whether you had more insight, whatever the case may be, this is the outcome that I want to talk about today. So the real outcomes of prayer. I've been in this situation so many times where I went into it and just praying. I remember there was a time where I prayed literally for 6 hours for at least 3 months straight. Every single day, I was going through a lot of warfare, a lot of oppression. I was being haunted in the spirit by darkness, witches, and warlocks. When I discovered that I was under the influence of a cult, but God revealed it to me, and I instantly left. Not only did I leave, I told the other members, and from there on, I experienced a lot of warfare. I didn't say I was cursed. I didn't say I was possessed, but I experienced a lot of warfare. And I was in a place where I prayed every single day for a very long time. And I prayed for these things to be dismantled, for these people that were demonic, for the Lord to bring them to a stop and to break those altars. Now, God can do anything instantly, but what God didn't do, what I asked him to do, was for that particular piece of the warfare, for it to diminish. But what did God do? As I prayed, as I sought the Lord, as I was on my prayer altar day and night, God began to bring forth wisdom, supernatural wisdom. He began to bring forth clarity concerning my situation. But not only did he bring forth wisdom and clarity, but God taught me how to pray, honey. He taught me how to pray. God built me into a prayer warrior of darkness, to learn how to break altars and so on and so forth. So what I was praying for, the immediate was, listen, stop this nonsense. They're haunting me. They're astral projecting in my dreams. They're, doing things and so on and so forth. God didn't stop that immediately. But what did he do? He built me. Yes, he did. He brought forth clarity. He brought forth wisdom. He made a warrior out of me, out of the situation that I was in. And so, this went on for quite some time. But before the situation came, there was strength before relief. This is the outcomes that I am speaking of. There was strength. There was supernatural strength. There was natural strength within me before the relief of what I was going through. There was peace before the actual solution. And then there was what? There was discernment before everything thing that I had asked for before it ceased. Now, why did God do that? Because God was building me. Not only was he building me, he was training me. So I am mentioning my situation, and you can find this whole entire situation in my book, The War Was Worth It. You should go all and grab a copy of the book on Amazon. The information will be in description on how you can purchase the book. But God, he heard me. He knew what I need, what I wanted, what I needed, and my desires. But God said, I got something better for you. It may not feel that I am here. You may not believe that I am rescuing you. You may not believe that, I am the one that can stop all of this in an instant. But what I'm doing is I'm building you. And those are the outcomes that no one really kind of speak about. They're always talking about the promotions or the tangible promotions. They're always speaking about the prosperity. But what about the spiritual prosperity? What about the spiritual prosperity? What about the inner, right? What about the inner before the exterior? So the important truth is prayer often works internal first, internal, right? Before external. And a lot of us are not taught that. A lot of us don't understand that. So when it's time, when warfare hit us, or when we're going through a season in our life, a drought season, or a season where we're just feel like we just want to throw in the towel, what's happening is if we continue to pray, if we continue to be steadfast and unmovable, there are some things that God is working on us within before he can show or bring forth that external outcome. Emotional steadiness is a result. In Isaiah 26:3, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Now, that tells me that as we are going through the storm, right? That if we keep our minds on Christ, if we stay in his word, if we continue to seek the Lord with all of our heart and all of our mind and all of our soul, and we continue to walk by faith and not by sight, as we continue to do this and we are steadfast, because why? Because we trust in God, he will keep us in perfect peace. Now, I know it's easier said than done. I've been through it. But I will tell you this, that when I learned to be calm in situations, when I learned to trust God, when I learned that God would not let me fall, when I learned that the outcome is going to be great no matter what I'm going through, no matter what the bruises, no matter what was stolen from me, no matter what tried to kill me, no matter what tried to steal from me, no matter what my destiny was trying to be destroyed. When I calmed down and I trusted God and I believed in God and I believed in his word and his power and his abilities, it was that perfect peace that kept me grounded and steadfast in trusting God. The more faith I had, the more trust I had, the more peace I had, was the more greater outcome, and God was able to move in my life, in my situation as he needed to. So in my situation and in your situation too, courage is a result. Sometimes we have to have courage. We have to have courage and not be discouraged. We have to be courageous and not be discouraged. We have to be strengthened as we are going through the process and ask the Lord to make us strong when we are weak. As the word in Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Wherever you go. Wherever you go. I don't care if you go to the moon and back, God is with you. I don't care if you go swimming and you go down to all the way down to the bottom. It doesn't matter. God is with you. So the word says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So that means that no matter what you're going through, that God is with you. Wherever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, God is with you. And so let's talk about the ugly part here concerning what happens when we give up too soon, or why people give up too soon. Why do people quit praying too early? Because they don't see results. Sometimes people want a microwavable blessing. They want it to come swiftly, immediately. But God is a God of decency, and He is a God of order, and He is a God of planning. If you don't believe me, you can go back into Genesis when God created the heavens and the earth, when He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then, when you can go back to Genesis, there was order, there was decency, right? There was formation. And so this is the same thing with it. When we are praying, a lot of us quit because we're not seeing the results too early, but there is something working in the background, and that is God. Why does quiet outcomes still matter? Because what you do in secret, God will reward you in the open. But sometimes we have to get into our prayer closet. Sometimes we have to get into our personal time with God. And we have to be raw, and we have to let it all out and be with God. It still matters, because this here is what builds you. A lot of people didn't know what I was going through. I would pray for 6 hours and leave my home, leave my praying altar, and smile. But the outcome came later. Why is peace an evidence that God is moving and God is working? Because the Lord says that He gives us peace. He is the Prince of Peace. That He leave His peace, not the peace of the world, not the peace of man, but His peace that surpasses all understanding, that guard hearts and minds. When you're in that level of peace, you can be evicted. Someone can pass away. You can be going through a divorce. You can go through anything and everything, but that peace that's in the shoes of feet, your feet that's in the shoes of peace, that peace doesn't leave you. That's the evidence that God is working. If prayer has been transforming you in silence, it's working. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it, because God is already fixing it. Anytime you're going through the fire, anytime you're going through something that you just can't see your way out, or you just seem like you can't catch a break, but you're being steadfast and unmovable within Christ, remember that this shift from being emotionally taken is for you to stand in courage. You got this even when you don't. That's when you allow the Lord our God to step in and to have you as you are going through. I want you all to go ahead on and hit the like and subscribe and notifications button to follow me here. And don't be a stranger. When I come on, go ahead on and pull up a chair so that we can encourage each other. We can bless one another. We can strengthen a brother, and we can motivate a father, and we can help each other through our situations.